Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Welcome to another episode of Connect with the Quran in this special month of Ramadan. And so, alhamdulillah wa salatu wa salam ala rasulillah. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wa hlul uqdatan min lisani yafqahu qawli. Rabbi yassir wa la tuwassir wa tammim bil khair ya fattahu ya alima wa bika nasta'in. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Once again, I wanted to talk about language, how significant language is, how it's used, how the written word, that is what distinguishes us as human beings from other creation of Allah. And so it seemed appropriate to me to bring in the first few ayahs of Surah Rahman, which go, A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Ar-Rahman, Allama al-Quran, Khalaqa al-Insan, Allamahul Bayan. So it's on Allamahul Bayan that I want to use that to take the conversation further. And we've done this previously in Ar-Rahman, that's a best sifa of Allah. He taught us the Quran, He taught us everything, but the Quran is the epitome, the top of the pyramid of what He taught us. It's the best thing that He taught us, and from there we can derive all other things. And then same thing with Khalaq al-Insan. He created everything He created, but Khalaq al-Insan is we are the prime, the best of the best in terms of His creation. And then Allama al-Quran, and then He taught us speech, Allama al-Bayan, the ability to do bayan, to clarify, but just this speech, that's what it is. And that again is what distinguishes us from all the hawanat, all the animals. Yes, they have a way of communicating to each other, birds and everything, they all do tasbih, we know that. But the beautiful thing is that and we recently did a workshop in which they said, well, what is different, what makes us unique, or what is the power we have which destroys us in our relationships or mends it or makes it? And it's a speech. And we have it in the hadith also, tongue, watch out for the tongue, it's between two gates, the teeth, so there's so much, and also the evolving, so that is just speech, but taking it further, it's also language. How significant is language? And so I found a good way of looking at engaging with the Quran, of wanting to go deeper, is because in English you'll get the same translation for different words, and you say, okay, so this is the word that's being translated for the Arabic, and then very soon thereafter you'll see another word translated with the same word in English. So that's where then the interest of, sort of delving deeper, pondering, looking into it. And this Ramadan is a beautiful time to be going into that deeper. Why is it this? Why are these? So I decided I wanted to look at the synonym as a good way to engage with the Quran. How similar words are used, how different nuances are created. At the very beginning when we did Fatiha, and it's also Ar-Rahman and Rahim. In English, it's all the immensely merciful and the many, and yes, they both derive from the source, but one is intensely merciful and one is continuously merciful. So those are the kind of putting them together. When Allah says Ghafoor and Ghaffar, it's the same thing. Ongoing mercy and also for the moment, the intense mercy of the moment. And there's more, so I don't want to confuse myself on that. But anyway, should you be interested, there is a book on it, Furuq al-Lughawiyya in Arabic, and it's by Abu Hilaal al-Askari. And should you wish to email me or find out more about it, we are. So when we were studying Surah Yusuf, and we stopped at one word, and then the teacher unpacked the many synonyms they were. And the ayah that was there, let me get to it, in Surah Yusuf, was about, it's in ayah 24 of Surah Yusuf, and I can get to it. I'm not going to read it out though. But it was on Hamad, that she certainly desired him, and he would have desired her had not the proof of his Lord come to him. So let me just get to it and see if I can read to you. But the beautiful thing that our teacher then unpacked for us was really, into the psychology of us as people. So it says, that, and with passion did she desire him, and he would have desired her, but he saw the burhan from Rabbihi, from his burhan. So, walaqad hammat bihi. She would have hammat him. And it says, wahum wahamma biha, and he would hamma to her, he would have, lala, had we not, anna ra'a, that he saw the burhan, the proofs, from the evidence from his Allah. And so it's like, it's also at the level of taqwa. You want to just do something, or you just want to blast, but this burhan that you get, or this taqwa, that stops you. So Allah is saying that no, she probably was a beautiful, he would have desired her but for this. So now what we're doing though is unpacking the wanting, the desiring. So here are some key terms I just want to go through with you, of hoping that it kindles the subhanallah moment of how Allah well He knows us, how well He knows how to describe our gamut of emotions throughout. So one is arada. Arada, which says that it means to will, to intend. And Allah intends ease for you. He does not intend hardship for you. This comes in Surah Baqarah in 185. Then there is raghib, ragaba or raghib, and which is to incline towards. We have this word in Urdu too, raghib, towards, or raghib, away from it. So it works in both directions, that one. And those who have no desire for marriage, they may abstain until Allah enriches them. This is in Surah Nur. But raghib by itself means to want, to long for, and then, so that's another word, and I don't know more on it to give you. Then there is amal, hope. So we also have that as a name for a child, amal, which means to hope. Whoever hopes, looks forward to meeting him, that's what he will get, Then there's ishtaha, to desire, to crave, and some of the words, they can be positive and negative. So here it says that for ishtaha, it can be lawful food and whatever. So it's reference to the Quran. It's talking about that whatever the soul desires, it will see, and the delights of the eyes. Ahabba is to love, to cherish, and Allah loves those who rely on Him. And Wallahu yuhibbul muhsinin, and so Allah loves the muhsin also. Now then, this is just neutral or positive, the ones I've just given to you now. The negative ones, the top of the list is hamma, to incline towards with intention. She certainly desired him, and she had the full intention, but there is a negativity of craving in it. And then the next one is shahwa, which is lust, base cravings, beautified for Allah is the lust, the shahawat of desires. This again comes in the Quran, in Al Imran 14. And then there's hawa. Hawa is also passions, whim, destructive things. So what are the words? Don't be a slave to your hawa, to your passions, to your whims, to your desires. Don't follow your hawa, lest it leads you astray. So this is also in the Quran. And then there is tama, that is greed, coveting. So don't extend your eyes towards what we have given others. And subhanAllah, it's also, in English we just define jealousy and envy. One is this and one is this, whatever it is, the difference is in it. But here, the tama is like, oh, why did he get the Porsche? I wanted the Porsche. Oh, whatever. That don't extend. And just digressing from this, just, you get these beautiful WhatsApp sometimes from motivational groups and so on. And one is that when you see somebody have something nice, don't covet it. Don't have tama for it. Don't, but pray for them. And the beautiful thing is, a friend did say that whenever you see something good somebody has, is you say, Allah bless them with it, be good. And just if you can come up with having good thoughts, usually the instinct is to want to, say, why did he have it? And if you bless them, then Allah, when they say Ameen, the angels, everything, may you get the same as well. So there is that kind of things going on there. Harisa is another one about to be greedy, overtly eager, and you'll surely find them greedy in life, and a few more. So in summary, positive yearning is fine, negatives is craving, malicious wishing, and this all reflects the psychological spectrum of desires, from noble intention to destructive lust. And we all are, if we haven't been through the whole lot, it is latent in us too. So the purpose of this exercise was just to look at words a bit more deeply and to try and engage at our heart. What's my heart doing now? So if we are ashraful makhluqat and we're given the unique gift of language that can make or break relationships, it's through our utterances that we link with each other. And so it comes back to Allah knowing us so intimately and the array of emotions that mankind is subject to. And the antidotes are also given, how to save ourselves from these vices. So that's just in a nutshell. I thought, it should just create this interest and love of, subhanallah, what doesn't the Quran have? If he knows us from our jugular vein, how well he has just packaged everything for us to have benefit from it. So anyway, with this we'll just take a short break, and when we come back we will look at the thinking words. So assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Welcome back. And so we're looking at how language is used by Allah in the Quran and how it impacts us and how it describes us to the T, and how, and we looked at, I just started with all the ones for desiring, yearning, wanting. And just in a nutshell, and I just gave them to rattle them off, and but you can really go deeper in it, and it's like, subhanallah, how Allah knows us. That's for me just a wow moment. Then why are you worried when you're worried? Allah knows me. Allah knows my condition. Isn't He going to take care of me? So now I just want to go into the thinking, because I think that's also profound, of how the varying degrees in which thinking occurs and how it is. So the synonyms that are used for thinking in the Quran are the basic perception, the basic awareness. So it's idrak, which means perception, realization, reaching an understanding. Then another one is wa'i, which is awareness and conscious noticing. I don't know more on this one. And then faham is basic understanding. So you have, even tafsir called faham al-Quran or faham, and it's grasping the meaning of it. That's what faham takes you to. And then there is ista'ab, which is absorption, full internalization of the content. And that's what, we kind of wish for, even both in our salah, in our everything, that we really absorb it. It gets penetrating deep into us. Then we move on to what's called reflective. These were basic perception awareness level. Then there's reflective thinking and the rational process, rationalization process, or the rational process. So one is takfir, which is a mental processing, a general thinking. Then there's aqal, and I love this one because it is reason, intellect, and it's often used to refer to the ability to distinguish, it's furqan, of good and evil, and so on. And I think I've done this before, but never mind. The beauty of aqal is it's actually used for a harness on a horse, or maybe all animals, but it's something that tethers him, that stops him, or that keeps him in place. So our aqal needs to be, we are not our mind. Our mind is part of us. So we need to be in control of that mind, use that aqal, and contain it. So if I'm going into, we'll get into those words too, of conjectures or other things, my aqal should help me keep it reined in, my waswas, my other things. So that's, I won't go deeper into it for the moment. Then we have tadabbur, which is deep reflection, especially over the Quranic meaning. And that's why when you look at the titles of the Ma'arif al-Quran, you can look at Tadabbur al-Quran, Faham al-Quran, Bayan al-Quran. These are all titles given of that's what you get from the Quran. Then there is Ta'ammul, which is pondering, observing deeply over a matter or a phenomena, and that is probably what, when we had all our discoveries made in our golden era of all these wonderful people we've had in Islam, in optics, in just everything, biology, sciences, all of them. That's what they did, the ammul, pondering, observing detail over, science, whatever. And then there is the tafaqquh, which is deeper developing of legal or spiritual understanding. So again, with reference to insights. And then we can go on to inner insight, and which is basira, which we talk of frequently in the Quran, a spiritual perception, which is on insight linked to guidance and true recognition of something. That's when you have the inner eye, the insight which recognizes truth for what it is. What is that beautiful bit that says, let me learn to recognize haqq as haqq, batil as batil, and know the difference between the two. And that's how that leads to guidance. Then there's ihata, which is complete knowledge, awareness, grasping all dimensions of something. And that word is used, ihata. Allah has the ihata. Allah's all-encompassing knowledge has us all. So don't we for an instant think that if I'm feeling this or that or suicidal or God forbid, that Allah's not aware. He's aware of everything. So don't you go dream of going down that alley or that route, because Allah encompasses, is all over you. And so and that's their use for Allah. And then now we have some key differences also. So hasiba is often linked to mistaken or unverified assumptions. And we have this in, do people assume they will be left? I think this is in Surah Ankabut, number 2, ayasabun nasa yutrakum an yaqulu amanna wa hum la yuftanun, which is that do people assume that they will be left to say, yeah, amanna, we believe, and they, without being fatana, without being tested. This assumption, this thinking is not based on deep reasoning. It's rather just a superficial assumption. Like the Christian says, we believe in the Trinity, we were baptized, and so we're going to go to heaven. So same with here, the ayah says clearly that you say, oh, amanna, I believe. So, that's it. So the word hasiba is mentioned often in the Quran. Dhan is mentioned less often, and ara'a less so. So aqala involves intellectual discipline and correct judgment. And then do you use your reason? So aqal is about using it in a logical way, okay, in a discipline. Zan and ara'aita, between them is relating to thinking or perceptions, but they differ in certainty, perspective, and function. So let me just see if I can go through before I lose the plot of saying zan is to think, assume, and suspect, and appears that many times in the Quran, a belief with uncertainty, which can be correct and incorrect also. And then it's used for it directs attention to a scenario and often to invite for critical thinking. So this is about zan. And and sometimes it means assumptions, correct or incorrect. They thought or assumed they will not return to it, and that was a false zan. It was a false assumption. And sometimes it can be with strong expectations, almost certain but not fully. Like indeed he thought he will never return to Allah. I think this is in Surah Kahf. And he was nearly certain, but his belief was misguided. So we also need to check, when are we in zan mode? We just saw her doing mother-in-law, daughter-in-law, any in-law relationship, or anybody we are a bit, whatever we are, is that the chances of doing zan, of presuming, which will be wrong, is more common. And we, in this time of Ramadan, of reflecting, let's look at ourselves and try to diagnose, digest, or whatever, look into our heart and see where are we with this. And this contrasts with yaqeen, which is certainty. So yaqeen is the opposite of that. I'm not going to give you the ayah of references yet. You can check with me later, and then I will. So that's where yaqeen is. And ara'aita is sometimes used for rhetoric questioning, which is like, but challenging you to look. But didn't you see, can't you see? So to expose injustice or hypocrisy, that's how it is often used. And also the consequence, don't they see the consequence of what happened to Ad, Samud, and so on. So it's often the zan was about false assumptions, and they think it's true, and yet it's not. Some words can be used in neutral, but used in a critical context, the araita or other things. So I haven't given it to you in a very scholarly fashion or a very whatever fashion to make it more, but it's just what comes from the heart of look at these words. See what Allah is saying here in Araita in Kana al Huda, of that. What if he's, it's on 96, which is Surah Iqra, if I'm not mistaken, Alaq, Surah Alaq, in which he says, what is it that he denies? What makes him deny and turn away? So it's highlighting moral failure of rejecting divine truth. So if at all in this month of Quran, this beautiful month of Ramadan, you can have been doing a bit more exercise, engaging with the Quran, but not just with the aim, I have to start it and I have to finish it, I have to start it and I have to finish it. No, just open it randomly. Now, why did Allah say this? I was looking at another piece, and in which, why is it, and now try and go and see why is it said this way. The resources are plenty. Yes, we have to watch out for good resources, not wrong resources, but the deeper you dig, Allah has given us the aqal, the sha'ur, the ability to distinguish, and you will know if this is all just cocked up stories or if it is actually true. So I just want to say that here the intention was to draw our attentions to also what games our minds play, convincing us that we are doing the right thing, and yet we are not often, and when like judging people or presuming things. And then so it just comes back to the beauty of the Arabic language. It really surpasses all others. Allah chose it for it's best expresses the full gamut of human emotions. And I wish, just the love, I wish we could use Arabic as our lingua franca. So with that, I will end off today, and with a prayer that whatever has been said and heard is of benefit, and may our Ramadan just surpass all previous Ramadans in quality. We don't know if we'll live to see the next one, so may it just be the best, and may we learn to engage with this beautiful book that Allah has given us, the Quran, for guidance and for Ramadan is the value of it. So with that, I'd like to end up. Subhana rabbika rabbil izzati amma yasifun wa salamun alal mursaleen walhamdulillahi rabbil alameen wa akhiru da'wahum anil hamdulillahi rabbil alameen. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.